A successful investment banker struggles after losing his wife in a tragic car crash. With the help of a customer service rep and her young son, he starts to rebuild, beginning with the demolition of the life he once knew. When you're a kid, they tell you you can be anything you want. What they don't tell you is how hard that's going to be, or how long it's going to take for you to decide. Davis Mitchell is the kind of dude that looks like he's got it together. At first, I thought of this story like Lester Burnham in American Beauty, but now I think he's closer to Tyler Durden from Fight Club. Maybe it's a mix of the two. Whoever he is, it's clear very quickly that Davis Mitchell has been living for everyone else for a very long time. He's a man trapped in a prison of safe, practical choices. Probably went to the right school, married the right girl, who's from the right family. He's checked all the right boxes. Davis Mitchell is not unique in this regard, but I found this story very interesting when I first saw it. The themes and ideas are universal, and Jake Gyllenhaal carries the movie well. We only get to see Davis and his wife as a couple for the first few minutes of the movie, because she's dead before the title screen. For me, this movie is sort of a cautionary tale about authenticity. The death of his wife forced Davis to examine his life in a way that most people are too afraid to do. There's a scene where Davis and Karen go to the pier to see Karen's pot dealer, and he says he never touches the stuff because it makes him think too much. I found that interesting because that's exactly the reason I do smoke. I'm a very introspective person by nature, but my sober mind makes it too easy to run from the things that I don't want to deal with. The cannabis cuts through all of that, and it leaves me with no place to hide. It forces me to look myself in the eye. There's a man that Davis sees on the train to work. The first conversation they had, Davis lied to him about what he did for a living, not knowing they'd see each other every day for the next few years. Davis decides to tell him the truth, and in doing so, he confesses that his wife died and that he didn't love her. This is the moment of Davis's awakening. How many of us wish we didn't get married, didn't have kids, didn't take that job? Too often in life we make decisions because it's what society says we're supposed to do. Davis has a job he doesn't enjoy, in-laws that don't like him, and lives in a house he hates. He has an opportunity to start over, a chance to decide who he wants to be. At first I thought, why didn't he love her? What was she like? What were they like together? I wasn't sure how reliable Davis is as a narrator, but then I realized that just because he didn't love her doesn't mean he doesn't care that she died. I really like that this was a story about grief, and the protagonist doesn't go looking for love to cope. Davis chooses to look within. He seeks to understand himself. During his first conversation with Karen, she asked him why he married his wife, and he says, because it was easy. But there's no growth in things that are easy. In my life, all the easy choices I've made led to hard lessons. I've met so many people that took the easy road just to find themselves living lives they never intended. Karen's son Chris is a strange kid, and he's at that stage in life where you sort of know who you are, but the world starts to tell you who you should be. The crossroads of confidence in yourself and conformity. I spent all of my 20s trying to be who they wanted, trying to do what they said, only to find myself in my 30s struggling to get back to who I was. The scene in the hardware store is one of my favorites. Chris asks Davis if he thinks Chris is gay. This is the kind of question that most adults would run from, and most teens would be afraid to have answered. But they both respected each other enough to be vulnerable. They leaned into it, and it's one of the funnier interactions of the movie. Rather than tell Chris who he thinks he is, Davis encourages him to figure it out for himself. And he does so with honesty and without judgment. Davis's problem isn't the fact that he's grieving. It's that he isn't, and he knows that he should be. He's coming to terms with the notion that he's been a complete phony for far too long. His whole life has been a facade of material success, and the realization that if he's been this unhappy for this long, what was his wife feeling? Turns out his wife was cheating. She almost had the other man's baby, and his mother-in-law knew about it. Even after all of this, he still doesn't lash out. He doesn't blame his wife. He doesn't even get angry. If there's anything to learn from this movie, it's this. No matter who you are, no matter your status, life and time come for us all. Authenticity is valuable. There's nothing wrong with being the person you are, and it's never too late to become the person you want to be. This could have been a more cliched story, but Davis didn't choose to destroy himself. He didn't choose drugs, he didn't choose drinking, or women. He chose life and forgiveness. Because at the end of the day, if your sword is dull, it's up to you to sharpen it.
Now hold it. Just like that.